Today we are doing pas de cheval. Pas de cheval means step of the horse in French because it looks similar to the way a horse lifts its leg before kicking or when it paws at the ground. Little side fact, if a horse paws too much at the ground, that usually means they're not feeling well. Now you know. It's rare to see this step go from fifth to fifth in the center in a ballet. It's usually used as a transitional step. The mechanics of a pas de cheval is you start from fifth, you go to coup de pied, you extend the leg and come back to fifth. Pas de cheval is tricky because we are fighting and resisting the body's impulse to turn in. This becomes the most obvious in devant. The leg naturally wants to turn in as it straightens. If you look very closely at the heel, you will see that it wobbles a little bit. Even professional dancers have to disguise the body's natural impulse to turn in the leg as it straightens. So we initiate a pas de cheval with a sur le coup de pied, which is lucky for us because it's easier to find your turnout with a bent knee. With your knee to the side, touch your pinky toe to your ankle bone. And as you extend from the ankle, imagine your knee is still being held to the side. Stretch from the inner thigh, stretch your leg, keep your heel forward as you extend, and then you slide back into fifth as if you were doing a tendu. You may notice some dancers wrap their foot, but the Vaganova method does not require a wrapped foot for sur le coup de pied and pas de cheval. I will explain that in a moment, but for now just focus on that stretch and that turnout before you close back to fifth. Since devant is the hardest pas de cheval for me, I have to give myself a lot of little tips. I imagine that the back of my knee is pressing into the opposite wall rather than facing down to the floor. It's as if my knee can only bend and straighten side to side, not up and down. American and Balanchine dancers tend to wrap their sur le coup de pied, and this may help you access a little bit more turnout. Wrapped sur le coup de pied is as if your sole is hugging your ankle. The instep is stretched and your toes are slightly lower than the heel. Finding and establishing your turnout is vital, so a little recap, the things that help me. I imagine my knee straightening and bending side to side only, not up and down, and you can experiment with a wrapped sur le coup de pied, see if that helps you find your turnout more. Thankfully, a pas de cheval to the side is a little more comfortable, and it's the same principle. You start with a coup de pied, straighten the leg while maintaining your turnout. If you choose to wrap your sur le coup de pied, you only wrap when the foot starts from the front. You do not wrap in the back. For sur le coup de pied in the back, the instep has that same winged position, but the heel is pressed against the standing leg from behind. It is important to get your heel forward and toes back as soon as possible in all positions, but it is the most noticeable from the back. Again, you want to keep your knee facing out to the side. Make sure you are turning out the whole time. If your knee starts facing forward, that means you are turning in, and you need to fight that with all your might. Imagine your butt cheeks and your thighs and your hamstrings rotating outwards to keep your hips open. Let's go over a few other things to keep in mind. Pas de chevals are not big développés, so keep the same level of your knee as you extend, like a dégagé. When I do a pas de cheval to the side, I imagine that the sole of my foot is looking forward, like my eyes, not down to the floor. This will help keep your heel forward and, of course, turned out. If you are still having problems finding your turnout, despite wrapping the sur le coup de pied and all these other little tips I gave you, you can try experimenting with a plie. Add a plie before your coup de pied because it is always easier to find your turnout with bent knees. It's easier to rotate your hips and get them out and open with a plie. Turnout is always easier with bent knees. If a pas de cheval combination is going to happen at the bar, it is likely going to happen around dégagés because the level of the leg is about the same. It's not too high. You also can't overcross the leg, and you still have to stretch that standing leg when you close. I still have to practice pas de chevals to get them to feel right. And look, my teacher is spying on me, watching me practice. Pas de cheval derrière is still pretty difficult. You have to keep your heel down and hidden and keep your knee facing out to the side, so having a side mirror would be very helpful. It's the same feeling as tendu, where derrière, your heel is down, and then devant, your heel is up, rotated up towards the ceiling. It seems that almost every single movement in ballet requires resisting the body's natural urge to turn in. And pas de cheval is where it feels the most obvious, but it is essential to master this so you can have both low and high beautifully turned out legs. Make sure you do whatever it takes to find your turnout first, then go from there. It is so important to have a safe turnout from your hips before you continue. So add the plie, wrap the sur le coup de pied, use a side mirror, make sure you always see your kneecaps in the mirrors, and hide your heels. So there's a lot going on in this fifth to sur le coup de pied, to straighten, back to fifth. A lot going on. Good luck and keep practicing.